What if USDC's peg just utterly failed? Like, what would
USDCs or
USDC? Yeah, not USDL, but USDC. What if it just failed? Coinbase just like died as a company. What would the price of Bitcoin be? It just
at this point, USDC is throughout the whole of DeFi, and that's that same the contagion thing we've seen with Terra. You had that sort of cascade effect where something went down and it had an impact on other things, and in probably more to the point, it had an impact on a lot of centralized places who had exposure to that particular asset. But USDC is throughout the whole DeFi now.
Everywhere, everyone trusts it too,
so,
right? I mean,
everyone trusts it.
So, I mean, it's got a good reputation. As we talked about before.
Yeah. So understand that is a risk in this space. Is you've got these assets that are moving through the ecosystem, and they're all becoming dependent upon each other. So you should never want to see anything fail. It's just not good for the space. And that's the same in TradFi as well. If you see something tank there, one of the fundamental pieces of that infrastructure, or look, gold, we seen the other day, I think it was Uganda just announced that they've found a whole heap of extra gold. So that has an impact on the price of gold, which has an impact on other things. It flows through the system. So in these hyper-connected ecosystems, you don't want to see things fail. It's not great. If they're small isolated projects, not a big issue. But if they're pervasive through the whole of
the premier stablecoin of Ethereum.
Yeah.
So Bitcoin's price, and then I mean, I imagine like if that happened, even during this bear market, that's got to be cataclysmic. That word.
Cataclysmic. Yep.
Cataclysmic. There you go.
Yeah.
For crypto in general and Ethereum too, of just like, wouldn't a lot of trust be lost in Ethereum at that point?
Yeah, and
can't even have a good stable coin.
Man, I tell you what, so off the back of, and I think I've got to assume that they're fudding this for their own benefit. So we had the Terra Luna collapse. Stablecoin, algorithmic stablecoin, affect a lot of centralized places. So we've seen everyone come out on the attack, and rightfully so. They came out and attacked Celsius and called them out. Then Voyager and BlockFi, a few others all got called out. Now, very appropriate to call them out because they were misusing the users' funds, but it also has a self-fulfilling prophecy that if you tell everyone to take all their funds out of a protocol, or a centralized system, it just collapses the system, and so it worsens the effect. So then what we've seen is people coming out and flooding USDC, and there's a couple of threads where they sort of talk about how USDC was going to fail and all that kind of stuff. And I without going into too much detail, I think it was all just FUD and it was inaccurate. Then yesterday, another one, Tether's going to fail. So I don't know why people are either they know something and they're trying to whistleblow, but in this case, they didn't have the facts and they're fudding. And it's not, I don't know whether it's intentional that they're doing that, but it's a dangerous game to play when you don't have all the facts. If you know the facts, sure thing. But if you're speculating, that's a dangerous game to play.
Is that something that? Yeah, is that something that? I'm trying to think of angles like why people would be flooding stable coins. Is it to try to push legislation in a way?
So that there could be a bit of that. So people trying to push legislation. What's that old saying? Never let a good opportunity go to waste. So
never let a crisis go to waste.
So that's the one. Never let a crisis go to waste. Yeah. So there's a bit of that. Could people be looking for lower entries in the market? Who knows? Trying to FUD the market to get lower entries, possibly.